Cancer. Welcome to a special reading called The Three of Swords. What is it called? Tarot spread for delving into a heartbreak. I've never done anything like this before. I'm not quite sure if this has a lot of demand for this type of reading. This could be regardless of whether you were the one to get broken up with, or if you initiated the heartbreak, or maybe you're still living with the person and you just feel like they have disappointed you. It's just something isn't right in the relationship. The person who created this reading, I guess, has an Instagram account called Light Wands. So shout out to her. All right. And this is the Light Seers Tarot deck. So in case you're interested in that. So the first position is what caused the heartbreak. And I had the card because I had started it over again. I'm starting it over again. This is the Two of Wands, and it was in the reversed position. 3 out of the 4 cards were in the reversed position. So I'm holding it upright because you'll be able to see it better. And I really love this depiction of the Two of Wands. I don't think I have gotten this so far because I haven't worked with these cards very long. So some of the cards I haven't picked yet, and I think this was the first time with this particular card. And the Two of Wands in the upright position, I'm just going to leave it upright for now, is a card that is connected to whether or not the person is staying put or going somewhere else. Wands connect with fire energy, which is very expansive. And so when you have a 2, you can be dealing with issues that are connected to having a dilemma, and being, having to choose between 2 things. In the upright position, the Two of Wands can be even like, should I relocate? Should I stay put where I am? And so when you have it in the reversed position, there's this feeling of maybe not moving forward in life. So staying, stuck in the past is how the booklet that came along with this describes it. And with Cancer, sometimes this is a challenge because you do tend to remember things. You have the memory of an elephant, don't you? And you also like to, reminisce about things, the days that were good, and not really seeing things as they are sometimes. And the other person may be wanting to do new things. This could even be, though, I feel, if one person wanted to relocate and the other person didn't. So this may not even have anything to do with personality clashes, other than, one person wanting geographical change and the other person very tied down or attached to the current town where they are. And I would say, if I had to bet, it might be you that is the one that's doing this. Now, wands in general connect with freedom. And, because it's a fire energy. So creativity, freedom, which is autonomy, and independence, which is not needing to run things past another person, not having to check in with somebody to see how you feel, but having your own mind and things like that. And not to say that you wouldn't be like that, but I would, if I had to choose, I would say that probably the other person felt like they had to choose between being with you and being free, especially if they are a fire sign or possibly an air sign, because there might be this sense of a person who felt suffocated in some way. And so, but we don't have to make one person the villain. It could be simply that there was perhaps that other person wasn't ready to settle down, whether you're older than that person chronologically and you're at a different stage of life, or emotionally, cancers tend to be very traditional people. There's always going to be outliers, but in general, you tend to want those traditional things like commitment, marriage and children. And the other person might want the same thing, but they're not ready yet. They just feel like it's too soon. So that might have been it, where they felt like, oh my gosh, I can't, if I stay with this person, it means that I won't be able to do my own thing, or have time with this person that doesn't involve raising children. So like if you wanted children right away and the other person kind of wanted to wait. So whenever you see twos in a tarot reading, there could be like kind of two minds. People can be of two minds on something. And so the second position is, what is unable to be seen about the heartbreak? So it could be something that you are not willing to see. I'm trying to see. I feel like it's, oh gosh, does it drive me crazy? I have the moon in Virgo, so I'm like, I don't know. I get very, when something seems like it's not aligned, I feel like, ugh. So what is not able to be seen in the relationship? We have another reversed card, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And so it's very interesting because what may not be seen, it could be like somebody keeping some kind of a secret from the other person and using and coming up with a false narrative of why they want to break up, but they're not really telling the whole truth. It could be that there's denial going on. The person sometimes is even told why, and they refuse to see it. And if you broke up with the person, you may have been very adamant about something and you weren't willing to, kind of like understand what that other person needed from that relationship that you could not provide. Now, the Ace of Pentacles is a card of new beginnings when it comes to work. So it's a very, practical card. It could be new sources of income and this sort of thing, but it's in the reversed position. I said there were 3 out of the 4 cards that came up reversed. And this is a card that can be about money problems. I mean, when I say money problems, that there's not like a firm foundation when it comes to money, okay? Because the Ace of Pentacles can be like a new beginning if it's in the upright position. When it's reversed, it's like something isn't taking off. Maybe you stopped treating a partner with respect. I mean, maybe it was very, very subtle when they lost their job or when they had their hours cut. When, with the shutdown situation, there have been a lot of people who have whose jobs have been in flux. People on unemployment. Then the unemployment runs out, and then all of a sudden there are problems in the relationship because the other person, and this does happen, the other person feels like resentful that they have to carry the load in the relationship financially. And this might be another person who's involved, who is an earth sign or has that kind of thing. But, this person might even be kind of a gold digger type of an individual. It's possible with this reversed card that there is greed somewhere along the lines here. Doesn't have to be on your end. If a Cancer person exhibits greed, I think a lot of times it's kind of fear-based, where they're just looking for security more than anything, because Cancers to me are not extravagant people. Obviously, mileage may vary, because people with Cancers with sun and Cancers with inner planets in Leo, the sign adjacent to you, can be bigger spenders. And the moon sign, you get fire energy, Sag or Aries or Leo. That might be more extravagant, or Taurus energy. So that may have some kind of money problems may be plaguing the relationship, and it's not something that has been expressed. Maybe you and the other person were bickering more, and these were like unspoken things, because especially if it's on your end, Cancer tends to be a very sensitive sign, and you know that it wouldn't sound good if you said, I'm mad that you lost your job. So it's easier just to kind of fight about things in a roundabout way than to actually deal with the disappointment, the anger of having, a partner that you feel is not stable financially, and that you're kind of picking up the slack. And I think that sometimes this can be what happens with a Cancer. Maybe this is with an Aries individual. Aries, because that's another cardinal sign that you may be attracted to. Aries, you may view Aries as time goes on as more and more immature, and that you're the adult in the room. And that could be a mistake, because you may be just seeing like one aspect that might not be Aries' greatest moment, but they have other things that perhaps make up for that. But because this is an area that may be very important to you, it's hard for you to just kind of let it go. And so there's more friction and fighting, and it's all because of fears of financial instability due to the other person. Maybe they thought they were going to get this new job, and it didn't pan out. The third position, what was the lesson learned in this situation? And so they are looking at it, or the person who created this is assuming that this is something that is not current. I had said maybe you're still living with this person. Well, we can kind of modify it and say, if you still are living with this person, what is the lesson to be learned here? And we have the Hierophant. Now the Hierophant, I don't know, have I gotten this card before? The Hierophant is a spiritual card, and it connects to your philosophy in life, your relationship with God. The Hierophant is also a card of marriage and tradition, strangely enough, too. So in terms of, and it's also connected to the sign of Taurus, which, by the way, Taurus is an earth sign, and it rules the second house of earned income. So there you go. I mean, it has a connection with money. Its ruler is Venus, and Venus can be sometimes about money. Now, the point being that maybe what you were here to learn with that relationship is, what are my values in a relationship? When we talk about philosophy, we're really talking about a set of values, aren't we? How you live your life based on what you value in life. So perhaps a relationship was unfairly saddled down by, faulty expectations, that you expected it to be other than it is. I know that some people have a very difficult time with relationships because they're too demanding in them. They're really looking for the other person to show up the way they want them to. And yet, usually in those situations, it's not a two-way street. It's almost like they would be like, how dare you, if the other person demanded the same of them. So the bottom line is that in life, we have to be willing to accept people where they are when we get involved with them in relationships. And, there's a saying, this is specific to heterosexual relationships, that a woman is looking for a man, to change a man, and a man is looking for the woman to stay the same. Same-sex relationships, I don't know how that works, but I know that makes a lot of sense to me in terms of my own experiences, is that we women tend to want to help the man improve instead of tending to our own garden. And that's always a recipe for disaster when you're going into relationships thinking that you're going to reform somebody. And so, that's what the spiritual path is all about. And the Hierophant kind of reflects that, is, knowing what is yours to work on. And when you actually take up that task willingly and and with enthusiasm, you will impact your partner in a positive way, because they will see that you are somebody who is, working on your own stuff, but they'll also feel inspired because they know that you're into self-actualization. And I say actualization. Well, self-improvement, we can say it that way. Okay. And the last card is, what is the first step needed to move forward to healing? So I guess this reading is assuming that you are still, part of you is still kind of dealing with the situation in your own way. So this was a reverse card that I got, and it's the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So I would say it's about cycles of life. And the reason being that in life, and what I think the Wheel of Fortune really talks about is that sometimes we feel like on top of the world and everything is going our way. We're able to just do everything the way that we want to, and then sometimes it's very difficult, and it seems like everything is it takes twice as much effort. And that's because there may be things that we need to change, first and foremost, and also recognizing that we can't control everything. Because I was just saying that, you can do these things in self-realization and self-improvement, and that's true, but some people take it to mean that they can do everything. And sometimes you just have to surrender to whatever is happening. And if it's one of those seasons of life where it's more of a contemplative period, more alone time, where it seems like it's, you meet people and you don't really hit it off, then you're comfortable with that because you know that this too shall pass. And when it's time, you're going to meet that special someone. Okay, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that this was at least interesting, if anything else. It's kind of an experiment that I'm doing. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. I'm mainly an astrologer. I do tarot readings on YouTube because they tend to be popular and it gets the word out more about my services. And but anyway, I also do private tarot readings too. It's not like I don't never do those. But you can check that all out below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.